Paul Williams was the original lead singer and choreographer of the legendary Temptations. He was called the heart and soul of the group, and he was from 1960 to 1971. On August 17, 1973, he was found dead, and it appeared to be a suicide. However, many people, including his family, don't think so. Paul was a member of the Temptations from 1960 until 1971, when he was forced to retire due to years of alcohol abuse and sickle cell anemia. It is believed that Paul started drinking heavily to numb the pain caused by sickle cell. Remember, this was in the 1960s and early 70s, so there weren't many other options. If you only know Paul Williams from the 1998 Temptations biopic, then you probably didn't know he suffered from this terrible disease, as they decided to leave that out for some reason. Enough about the movie, let's get into it. Was Paul Williams murdered? Or lack thereof. Williams was found in his car wearing nothing but his underwear, and he'd just left his girlfriend's house. It's very unlikely that he would have left the house he shared with his wife and children wearing only underwear. So, assuming he arrived at his girlfriend's place wearing clothes, why didn't he leave with them? Could it be that her husband came home and caught them in the act? Did he chase Paul down and kill him? It was reported that Paul used his left hand to shoot himself on the right side of his head. The questions here are why and how. Why make it that difficult, and how does someone do that? That's quite a task, especially for someone who was right-handed and wanted to commit suicide. If Paul really wanted to end his life that bad, then why didn't he just use his right hand to shoot himself on the right side of his head and get it over with? It simply doesn't make sense. It was also said that the gun was fired twice, but Paul was only shot once. While no one knows what's in another person's mind, Eddie Kendricks, Paul's longtime friend and bandmate, said that he seemed to be in good spirits. Kendricks also claimed that Paul had been sober for nearly a month, so that leads to another question. Why was there a bottle of alcohol found near his body? Was it a cover-up? Paul had been a heavy drinker for years, so why not place a bottle beside him to make it seem like he was a suicidal drunk? It's also worth stating that shortly before his death, Paul had been working on a solo project with Motown. Those who knew him said he loved performing, and it crushed him when he was forced to retire, so why? Why would he take his own life right after he'd been given a second chance to do what he loved? The three issues are laid out. First, Williams was shot on the left side of his head, but his gun was found in his right hand. In order to have shot himself, Williams would have had to angle his gun in an impractical manner. Second, a bottle found by his left had shattered, as if he had dropped it. Third, the gun had been fired twice, but only one bullet was lodged inside Williams. Those 3 points do raise a lot of questions. Furthermore, why would a man get into his car half-dressed, drive a few blocks, and then commit suicide? Any additional evidence to examine has disappeared into the ether. Online, the most common counter-interpretation is that Paul Williams was caught with his pants down in his girlfriend's apartment by her partner, who proceeded to gun him down. But, again, that cannot be substantiated, so the official story remains unanswered.